Hey, everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable, the podcast. It is Monday, December the 16th. Only, yeah, yeah, 8, 9 days till Christmas, whatever. Anyway, it's good to see everybody again. I hope you had a nice weekend. I did. It was a great weekend there. Top Eagles, big victory yesterday over the Steelers. The Battle of Pennsylvania. Eagles do it again. Huh? Steelers still haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965. There you go. Um, and I went to see a show yesterday. I got to tell you about what a great show. Anyway, Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. But before we do, there you go. The Patriots saint of this fun broadcast it is Bud himself. There he is, Bud, just lounging around. Look at him. He was a great lounger in his time. Big time lounger. Bud, there we go. We miss you and we love you, big guy. Big guy. Anyway, so, oh, by the way, today is chocolate, put chocolate over anything day or something like that. If you got anything, put chocolate over it today. Like pork chops. Let's say you're having pork chops for dinner today. You usually wouldn't put chocolate on. That's crazy. It's crazy. Today, put chocolate over your pork chops. If you've got pasta, put chocolate on anything. You put chocolate. Normally, though, yeah, you put chocolate on ice cream, or you've got your chocolate over, I don't know, chocolate covered pretzels, right? They're always good. Those are the normal things. But, if you want to get a little creative, and hey, you only live once, and you want to live a little on the edge and be a little daring, well, let's say that you're doing Chinese tonight, and Chinese food, and you have some young ping kung or whatever's your favorite Chinese meal there. Just put a little chocolate on top of that there. Chocolate covered cherries, my favorite. Ah, love chocolate covered cherries. So, Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. Whoa. Well, first of all, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? I told you Eagles were going to win. In fact, I got the score right. If you remember, you go back and watch Friday's program. 27-13 Eagles, I think I said. Yeah. Anyway, and I also advised you to take A.J. Brown 100 yards. 100 yards. He was over 100 yards receiving. And you knew he was going to get the ball because that's the way it always is with A.J. Brown. Part of the expression, bitches about not getting the ball. The very next game, they threw him the ball. So he had, 70 catches yesterday, over 100 yards, touchdown. I mean, A.J. freaking Brown. The Eagles, they just put it to the Steelers. I mean, here you got the Steelers with a good defense, and they pretty much limited Saquon Barkley yesterday. He didn't have a gigantic game like he usually has this year because they're good against the run. But the Eagles tortured them through the air. Both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had touchdowns, and they both had over 100 yards receiving. So just a great game by the Eagles. And this is what this does, is this solidifies the Eagles. Now, first of all, they have a 10-game winning streak, which is a franchise record. They have never won 10 games in a row before, even in their Super Bowl winning year, they did not have a 10-game winning streak. So they are 12-2, and they could win their last 3 games and go 15-2. Who would ever thunk it, huh? The line opening up the year was 11 and a half wins. They're just going to, well, they've already broke that, but they could just wipe that away, shatter that. Oh my God, whoever would have thought, right? You knew the Eagles were going to win the NFC East because, again, No team wins the NFC's 2 years in a row. Dallas won it last year. Eagles turned to win it this year. So, and what this does is this ties the Eagles with the Lions for best record in the NFC. Now, the Lions have the tiebreaker because of the conference play, but all it takes is one Lion loss, one more Lion loss, and the Eagles winning all the way out, and the Eagles would have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which we said before is really big because the Super Bowl would run through Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field, and have to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia to get to the Super Bowl. Outdoors, cold weather, could be snowing, could be sleeting, you never know. And a lot of these teams that are in the playoffs, the Lions, the Vikings, they're not used to that because they don't play outdoors all the time. That's what's big about it. So, and if the Eagles do get the number one seed, they get a bye. So they have a week to rest up while all these other teams are playing each other in what they call wild card weekend. The Eagles sit at home on the couch, eating chocolates and resting up for me. Yeah, that's the way to do it. What can I say? They just, they came out stronger yesterday. At least they scored 10 points in the first quarter, which was whoa, like a lot compared to what they usually score in the first quarter. And then basically, here's the thing. They were up 17-13 at half. They just wore the Steelers down in the second half, which they usually do. If you want to keep in mind something, Eagles second half. The line was Eagles minus 2.5 for the second half. Well, they scored 10 points. The Steelers scored zippo, nothing. And it's because the Eagles just wear you down and wear you down. And that last drive was so impressive. 10 minutes. They ran out the clock. Steelers never got the ball back. Eagles started like on the road 2 or 3 yard line, took it all the way down. I mean, talk about running the clock out. Steelers were so helpless there, like little babies, helpless. So there you go. So much for these guys. I was watching the pregame show, Terry Bradshaw. Well, of course, Terry Bradshaw was an old Steelers quarterback. So he's always going to side with Pittsburgh. He's like, oh, Pittsburgh's going to win today. Pittsburgh wins. Yeah, Terry Bradshaw, you're old. Okay, that's all I got to say. You're old. So, Eagles, too many people do not believe in Eagles still. The Lions are banged up. They lost more players on defense yesterday. They are banged up. They still have a great offense. 48-42. Lions lose to the Bills yesterday. How about those Bills, huh? The Bills have scored at least 30 points. What is it, 7 or 8 games in a row? They just set an NFL record. If you take the Bills, this team total, score 30 points, yeah, I win. There was a lot of trends that came through yesterday. A.J. Brown got his 100 yards. Joe Burrow passed for 3 more touchdowns yesterday, which gives him, 7 or 8 games throwing 3 touchdowns. That's an NFL. So if you paid attention to the trends yesterday, the things most likely to happen, they came true for the most part. So Eagles just, hopefully will convince people that, hey, they're for real. I'm sure I didn't look at the odds this morning. I'm sure the Lions are still probably favored to go to the Super Bowl. But, the Eagles, like they said on Monday Night Football last night, are the most complete team in football right now. Kansas City, they struggled yesterday with Cleveland. Buffalo had a great win. You have to give it to them, beating Lions. Baltimore, anybody could. The Sisters of the Poor could have beat the Giants yesterday. I could have went out there in the freaking wheelchair and beat the Giants yesterday. So, the most complete team in football right now are the Philadelphia Eagles. So, good times are on the horizon, my friend. Eagles get to the Super Bowl. Let's hope they do. And, I'd like to see, even though it would be nice to pay the Chiefs back and kick their ass in the Super Bowl, Eagles, Bills. First of all, you got probably the two most loyal fan bases in football. The Bills Mafia and the Eagles fan base facing off. Josh Allen against the Eagles. What a game that would be, huh? Oh, God. And it very well, maybe Eagles, Bills. And, if the Eagles weren't in it, I'd say go Bills, because the Bills have never even been to a Super Bowl before, let alone win one. So you have to say Bills, Bills, good for the Bills. Unless they play the Eagles. So there was a lot of interesting games yesterday. Tonight we had 2 games. That's kind of sad. That's what I would call highlight games. But hey, Monday Night Football, we got 2 games. And we're coming down to the home stretch. Now all these buys were all the teams are playing. 16 teams. They're all 16 games and 32 teams. They're all playing. Down the stretch. 3 games to go. And then the NFL regular season is over. Can you believe it? But that close. And that's the best time of the year. Holidays are over, but you got the playoffs going all through January, early February. That's the Super Bowl, man. Ooh. So anyway, I gotta tell you, show. Every year we go and see Peter Noone, Herman of Hermit's Hermits. Remember Hermit's Hermits? I've had 88 diet, had 88 diet, I talked back to the widow, she's been married 7 times, everyone, Henry with another, no, 7, no man of Henry, had 88 diet, second verse, same as the first. He's a lot of fun. We go every year to see his Christmas show. And what's cool about this is, of course, I'm a big British Invasion fan. As you know, I love the Beatles, the Kinks, remember the Kinks, the Hollies, so many great British groups back in the 60s. And some Hermit's right in there. And so the Christmas show is different, though, because you've got Hermit's, you've got their hits, Mrs. Brown, you got a lovely daughter. Something tells me I'm into something good. Those kind of things. But also the Christmas songs. The whole Sellersville Theater was singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, White Christmas. So many great songs together, So it was a great show, a lot of fun. Peter D likes to go out in the crowd and mingle, talk to people, and just so happened my sister-in-law was sitting in the first row, and he went by and he grabbed her handbag. Now that is part of the act. That's part of the routine. He does it like every show. He grabs somebody's unsuspecting the handbag, carries it up to the stage, drops it off, and then later on in the show, he'll bring the handbag back to the person. This time, he didn't bring it back. At the end of the show, had to go to the front of the stage. We were pretty close to the stage anyway, and say, "That's her handbag. and the band was kidding. We were going to keep it. So anyway, after the show was over, Peter Noone was in the lobby signing autographs, taking pictures, which was nice of him because he had another show to do. We went to the 3 o'clock show. He had another show at 8 o'clock to do. So they're signing autographs. We're at the back and we get our pictures taken, which is really nice. And he remembers. All of a sudden he remembers. He looks at my sister-in-law, Lola, and says, "Did you get it back? Did you get the bag back?" And she did. So there you go. But it was a lot of fun. Those pictures I put up on X, Twitter, or whatever, of me hamming it up with the one in the repeater. So it was a lot of fun. And it gets you to the Christmas spirit, which we need. So, I think I told you a couple of weeks ago, we went to the Christmas show at American Music Theater in Lancaster. And that was a great show. It gets you into the spirit of Christmas, right? And yesterday was the same way. Gets you into the spirit of Christmas. And we all need that, We all need to have a good time and forget about the world for like an hour or two and go have a good time. So it was fun. And I said, that was the last event until I get my eyes fixed. I think I told you this week at this time next week, Monday, I may be under the knife, or in this case, under the laser, whatever. So, so obviously I'm not going to do a show next week. But hopefully I'll be able to do a show Tuesday. And we'll have a wrap up over the weekend. Eagles play at Washington this week. Now, that's not an easy game. Because, I don't think Washington is going to win the division. I think the Eagles have that in hand. But, especially, here's the thing though, Washington could be fighting for a wild card slot, whatever. And Washington's playing at home. And they do have revenge because the Eagles beat them earlier in the season. In fact, I was at that game. It was a Thursday night game. But so it could be an interesting game. I'll give you my take on Eagles Washington later in the week. We have all week to talk about it, but it could be an interesting game. So, but yeah, this time next week, I could be under the knife. But it's a good under the knife because after I get my cataract out, after they implant they suck out the old lens and they implant the new lens. I don't want to think about it. But, they put that new lens in. All of a sudden I can see. Oh, crying. So that's going to be cool. So, a lot to look forward to coming up. Christmas next week too. So I'll be back again, probably tomorrow. We'll talk more football, we'll talk more Eagles, and we'll see what else is in the news and what we can talk about. If it's somebody's famous birthday, if it's a famous day, like smother your pork chops chocolate day, that's what we're going to talk about. Because that's what we do. That's how we roll. We talk about crap like that. All right, well, thanks a lot for listening. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace and love to everybody. I hope you have a good day. Take care for now. Bye. Go Eagles!